Bismillah, how free porn sites really work and who runs them. This was put out by Theo Von Clips a couple of months ago, and I'm going to cover it today, inshallah. I'm going to link this in the description down below. Let me know your thoughts and comments in the description down below, inshallah. Without further ado, let's get started.
So it's not just Pornhub, right? Pornhub is owned by a parent company that all of this kind of I learned over the last 5 years, called MindGeek.
Okay.
Now, MindGeek has a monopoly on the global big porn industry. So we call it big porn because there's big porn, just like there's big tobacco, there's big pharma, there's big porn, and it's dominated by one company. That company was called MindGeek. They rebranded to ILO to try to escape their reputation as peddlers of crime. But so with a $362 million loan from a hedge fund called Colbeck Capital and 125 secret investors who were outed as including JP Morgan Chase and Cornell University, they had basically rolled up the entire global porn industry under one company. So
they owned it, MindGeek.
Yeah, so they owned, they were managing Playboy, Digital Playground, Wicked Pictures, Browsers, Reality Kings, pay sites, subscription sites, and then the tube sites. So Pornhub and its sister sites. So Pornhub, YouPorn, RedTube, TubeBait, GayTube, XTube, I could go on and on.
Yeah.
They own the most popular tube sites. So
Vegan Tube, is that one? That's no time for jokes. And who owns MindGeek?
So MindGeek was owned by a secret majority shareholder. So nobody knew who the owner of MindGeek was when all of this began.
And were they in America?
No, we found out. So we found them, through the course of this. There was an investigation called Hunt for the Porn King.
So they're not an American company. So you start on the Hunt for the Porn King.
Right. So we discovered who was the secret majority shareholder of the company, and his name was Bernd Bergmayer, and he was in Austria, and he lived part-time in Hong Kong.
Bernd Bergmayer? Let's bring a picture of him up.
Yeah, you can.
I just want people to know
there he is. Yeah.
Bernd Bergmayer.
Yeah.
And let's look at his Wikipedia. I just want to get a little. He grew up as a son of farmers in Ansfelden, attended grammar school in Linz, he studied at University of Linz, wherever that is. He worked at Goldman Sachs in New York. He became the owner of porn site RedTube in 2013. He sold to the site Manwin, now known as Alyo. He was a former majority owner of Pornhub and MindGeek. Okay.
Yep.
Just want to make sure we see him.
He was the majority, and then Feroz Antoon and David DeSillo were the CEO and the COO, and they were the minority shareholders, and they had kind of hidden themselves from the public as well for a really long time.
Okay, and are these guys all from Austria? Or are they all from a specific place?
So Canadian. So the company is an international corporation. They are headquartered in Canada. So they have most of their employees in Canada, but they have offices now they have an office in Texas. They had one LA, Cyprus, Romania.
MindGeek has offices everywhere?
Everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah. So they are a multinational corporation, huge corporation, hundreds of millions of dollars a year, multi-billion-dollar corporation with a monopoly on the global big porn industry.
And how much money was it bringing in a year?
Yeah, they're estimated about $500 million per year. The value of the company is multiple billions of dollars. And Pornhub was the flagship site. So this was the cash cow of the company. This is how not only are they making money on 4.6 billion ad impressions every day and all of the traffic they're getting, but they're advertising their pay sites on the free sites, right? So they kind of have this ecosystem where they advertise browsers on Pornhub and drive traffic to all of the other websites that they own.
I thought it was Brazzers, which is crazy, but also, I don't care. I mean, either way, it's bad.
Yeah, content is king for the porn tube sites. You have to understand this, that it's about getting unrestricted, massive amounts of content so that they could get picked up in Google search results, so that they can drive massive amounts of traffic, so they can sell all those ad impressions and make hundreds of millions of dollars a year on free porn, okay?
And this... Really quickly, I just want to say that this is part of the problem in the poisonous ecosystem of the online internet world. This is the problem that we're having, is that There's unrestricted access to this by anybody who has a telephone. Telephones are in the pocket of every man, woman, and child basically on the planet right now. And as if we don't have enough coming at us in our day-to-day life already, and we're being bombarded all the time with different types of fitna as Muslims. Now you're basically putting a device in your kid's pocket, in your pocket, which allows you unrestricted, unfettered access to this debauchery at the push of a button in your fingertips, in the privacy of your own bedroom, the privacy of your own bathroom. And that's a lot of problem that a lot of us as adults have, is there's a lack of self-control. There's a lack of self-control. You have to use the internet as a tool rather than, a crutch. So use it sparingly and with wisdom and discernment. But the problem is that it's so unrestricted and so out there that anybody can access it at any time. If your kid gets a hold of your phone and picks up and pushes your Google button, this is the type of stuff that you've been partaking in. This is the type of stuff you've been watching. Then what happens is they immediately become exposed to this. And kids are doing this, they're sharing this in schools, in the public school systems, and probably in the private school system sector as well. So it's really a big problem. It's not just as simple as, what does it matter? They're consenting adults, yada, yada, yada. It also breaks into trafficking and things like that. And she'll cover that here in a second too, inshallah. Let's get back to
it. Worst thing they could do is take content down from the site. But they started to delete millions of videos. They deleted 10 million videos and over 30 million images, basically in 24 hours. And what Financial Times called probably the biggest takedown of content in internet history. They deleted all of their unverified videos because they had no idea who was a child and who was 16 and who was 18.
Right.
Who was, what was rough sex and what was rape. They had no idea what was consensually recorded and non-consensually uploaded, right? And so they took down that much content.
Because they're worried about the money.
Yeah. They wanted to woo the credit card companies back.
Right.
Is they said, okay, we have to do this. They basically deleted their site. 80% of it at the time. They had 30 moderators moderating the millions of videos on Pornhub. Now compare that with Facebook's 15,000 moderators, and they still don't have enough. These moderators, they were viewing between 800 and 2,000 videos per shift, clicking through those videos with the sound off, just clicking through them, guessing. I call it the underage guessing game. This is a game of Russian roulette with people's lives. They're trying to guess who's 15 and who's 18, who's 16 and who's 19. Nobody can do that on even a pediatrician can't do that.
Yeah, and what happens to your brain at a certain point after seeing so much traumatic stuff that you were even that should be a crime, and putting a employee through that.
Well, I've spoken to those, and some of those employees I call friends today because they
said that they've seen some. It's been really intense. Their conscience
was pricked.
Oh, I'm sure.
They came forward, and I've spent hours and hours in person and online and on the phone, speaking to them, trying to understand how all of this worked. And one of them is especially dear to me. And he told me that it was so hard on him to do this job, but he needed the money. And he was abused as a child. He was sexually abused as a child.
Wow.
So it was especially hard for him to do this. But I think that's
why he went and did it. It's you could find something else to do, probably.
I mean,
not calling him out, but it's maybe there's some weird thing that's created there too that
I don't know. I appreciate what he did in coming forward. So this is the company. This is the
30 moderators to cover billions of hours of content that's being uploaded, unrestricted. No way of telling these things. 30 moderators. She said Facebook has 15,000 moderators, and 15,000 is still not enough. And they were doing this with 30 moderators and expecting for things like trafficking and things like this to not get out. Astaghfirullah. And this is the type of thing that we encounter as Muslims. It's not just the non-believers. It's not just the Christians, the Jews, and the Hindus and the Sikhs that are experiencing this kind of stuff. This affects every area, every walk of life, secular and non-secular alike. So this is serious. This is intense.
this is who we're kind of coming up against, right? And so all of this started to take off and go viral, and victims are coming forward, whistleblowers. I told you about the former owner who came forward. His name is Fabian Tillman, and he was called the Zuckerberg of porn. He's the one.
I just want to get I want to put a face to these guys. Fabian Tillman. He looks Danish, huh?
Thy. Yeah.
Danish.
Yep.
Fabian Tillman.
He's the one that put Pornhub on the map. He kind of had this vision for
the German entrepreneur who once built the biggest adult entertainment company in the world. Let's see him. That's him. Fabian. Okay, so he's one of the guys schlepping it.
So he's the one who actually revealed to me who the secret majority shareholder was that he sold the company to. Yeah, he reached out in summer of 2020 to say he wanted to help. And so one of the things that he did was he exposed the secret majority shareholder's name. Mm-hmm. And he said, go after the credit card companies. As the former owner, he said, if you want to make a difference here, you go after the credit card companies to cut ties. And so that was, now what I didn't.
Now notice something from an Islamic standpoint, right? The credit card companies, usury, interest, riba, right? These are things that we shouldn't be partaking in. Who has the majority shareholder in these companies? You guessed it. You already know. We don't even have to say their names. We don't have to give a description of them. You know who is in charge. Man, it's so crazy how it's all interconnected. And this is a ploy to keep people from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a tactic. This is strategically implemented. And it's corrupting the youth, and it's corrupting even the adults. May Allah protect us all. I mean,
didn't realize at the time. I was suspicious, right? Why is he wanting to help? And I kind of later found out that he had intention to try to buy back the company. So he kind of wanted to make a killing again. So I think he wanted to help take it down, buy it, then
find a way to do it back, probably with crypto or something on a different chain.
I don't know what he was thinking, but he wanted to buy it back, which I found out later on. But the CEO and the COO and the CEO were forced to resign as well. And today they're being sued by nearly 300 victims in 25 lawsuits, including multiple class actions on behalf of tens of thousands of child victims. Amen. And they're doing amazing in the courts. So much more evidence has been uncovered in legal discovery. So discovery is this amazing tool. Mm-hmm. When you engage in a civil lawsuit, the court gives you permission to get behind your opponent. So you can get their text messages, you can get their emails, you can get, and so much has come out of the complicity. Like you just couldn't believe. The site is still online. It's been purchased now. They're trying to do this whole rebrand. So it was sold as a distressed asset to a company that they created themselves to buy Pornhub. Okay. And they are called Ethical Capital Partners.
Wow, what a name. Yeah. Ethical Capital Partners. And who are the main bigwigs in that company? Do we know?
Yes, we do. They have themselves online. The guy that's out there kind of trying to do this whole rebrand of Pornhub, like we're Ethical Capital Partners. His name is Solomon Friedman, and he is a criminal defense attorney.
So is he really? A Jewish guy from where? Where's he from?
Canada.
Oh my God.
He's from Canada. Yeah.
What's the
Oh man. Ethical.
Rebranders make it more ethical?
Well, I mean, that's what they're saying, right? They're saying they called themselves Ethical Capital, yet at the same time, they did.
So Ethical Capital Partners, there's still.
Somebody please chime in the comments down below and tell me how this is okay in the Jewish faith. Like, tell me, in what world is this? Like, I don't understand the disconnect between God and between the world of evil. I don't understand where their disconnect is at with this kind of thing. I guess whenever you think that a man can wrestle with God and win, you can argue with God. You can argue with the creator of the heavens and the earth and wrestle with the creator of the heavens and the earth until you get your way. I guess it is what it is. They think that anything is permissible.
Stuff out there that's not supposed to be there.
Yes, they still haven't actually implemented
Right.
the preventative policies.
So what's ethical about
necessary.
it?
It's just a farce. I mean, it's just, and that's why I think it's so important to sound the alarm on this rebrand, because from a victim's perspective, like this is also a miscarriage of justice for them to go out there and try to resuscitate Pornhub's brand to say, oh, we're ethical capital. Listen, the men who made that decision to have 30 moderators just guessing what's rough sex and rape, guessing, and they guess wrong all the time. They were skipping through 2,000, thousands of videos per shift. And they're still running Pornhub today. So they're still on the 6th floor Aquamarine Montreal Tower of that corporation running Pornhub today. Yes, the CEO and the COO were forced to resign, but they have the same CFO. They have the same CLO.
Who's the CFO? Let's see.
Eddie DeSanto.
Eddie DeSanto, bring him up.
I don't know if you'll find him. They try to
They try to hide his face?
They try to, but
Sick.
some of them, I mean, you can find Ryan Hogan, Matt Kalichi. So you can look up Kareem Almarazi. He is the
Let's look him up.
CPO, and he's running it today.
Kareem Almarazi.
So
There
that's
he is.
So he's there today, right?
Yep, about him from Canada. As an integral part of their mobile broadband team. Telecommunication engineering. Went to University of Montreal. So they're still running. They're just trying to rebuild this company and still make money.
Well, so I mean, what I'm
there's
saying
nothing
is like
wrong with-
ethical capital, right? If they were coming in and saying like, we're going to rebrand, we're going to do this new thing, why would you still have the same men responsible for the decisions that destroyed the lives of countless victims just running the site today? That's why it's like,
Right.
it's just a farce. Like, it's not real.
Yeah.
All right, that concludes this wonderful coverage today by Theo Von Clips. Again, I will link this down below in the description. Tell me your thoughts, comments, ideas, suggestions, concerns, all of that in the comments. Rebranding as an ethical, practical company is ridiculous. You could put lipstick on a pig, ladies and gentlemen, but it's still a pig. It's always going to be a pig. And where there's smoke, there's usually fire. And in situations like this, we are already hit and bombarded, slammed enough with fitna and temptation and all these kind of things. And it's not a victimless crime. Pornography is not a victimless crime. It's something that affects all walks of life. It's affecting you. I will guarantee it. You or somebody you know is affected by the adult entertainment industry. So make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to please protect you and all of your loved ones from being exposed to this kind of stuff, and that they be shut down. This is just a sliver in the overall grand scheme of things when it comes to the agenda that's out to keep mankind subjugated to sinful ways and sinful actions. You have to be willing to discern for yourself and stand against this kind of thing. And it's up to each individual, right? We can't force anybody to do anything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will allow what Allah will allow, but we have to play our part in fighting against this kind of stuff. And I really appreciate Theo Von Clips for putting this out, having this interview. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him guidance to Islam. Ameen. Ameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all the brothers and sisters in the world. Give us all forgiveness. Give us all guidance. Give us all strength without hardship. Inshallah. Ameen. Ameen. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, brothers and sisters, stay on the deen and stay unfiltered.